kitchen sink, but this is my kitchen cupboard. Well, we did it was the way camping, but anyway, this is my kitchen cupboard. We'll leave that later. Now, we talked about King David, we talked about King Solomon, and after that there were lots and lots of kings that came and went. And you know what the Bible said about them? They did evil in the sight of the Lord. They weren't good kings, they were evil. And now we've arrived at a time when the king is called Ahab. And do you know what the Bible says about King Ahab? That he did more evil and more things to anger the Lord than anyone else before him. He was the worst. Imagine God saying in the Bible that about you. He was the worst. He was an evil king. And in those days, him and his wife Jezebel, they worshipped Baal. He was just a statue. He wasn't even a god. He couldn't do anything. He was just a statue. And all the people copied them and they worshipped Baal. But if you remember what a prophet is is someone who God speaks to, and then the prophet tells the people what God said. And at that time there was a prophet called Elijah. And Elijah could see that Ahab was so evil, and he had words from God, and he wasn't afraid. Well, he might have been afraid, but he trusted God, and he went and said to Ahab, you know what's going to happen? You're so evil, there's going to be no rain for the next few years, no rain, no dew, until I say so. That was the words from God. And you know what happens when there's no rain? Then there's no crops, and then there's no food, and there's a famine. People go hungry. And Ahab and Jezebel, they didn't like hearing the words of God. They certainly didn't like words like that. And it didn't make them sorry for the things that they had done. In fact, it made them mad. And Jezebel wanted to go around killing all the prophets there were in the land, because I guess she thought, well, if I kill them all, then I'll not have to listen to the words of God anymore. But we can't stop God speaking. But Jezebel maybe thought that she could. So Elijah had delivered the message. There was going to be no food, but God was going to look after Elijah. He told him to go into the desert, and when he was in the desert, God was going to send big birds called ravens with meat for him, food for him every day, and every day he could drink out of the stream. So God protected him from Jezebel. He was hiding in the desert where Jezebel couldn't find him, and God fed him every day until the stream dried up. Here's Elijah in the middle of the desert with nothing to drink. But God didn't forget Elijah. And now he gave him a new set of instructions. He said, I want you to go to a place called Zarephath. And when you get there, I will instruct someone else, a widow woman, and she will feed you. So Elijah trusted God and made his way to Zarephath. And as soon as he got there, he saw a woman out gathering sticks. And he said, hello, excuse me, could you bring me a drink, please? And as she turned to go and get the drink, he said, oh yeah, I'll bring you some bread. Well, the woman turned and she said, as surely as your God lives, I have no bread, I have no food. Let me tell you what happened earlier. And this is what she said. She said, I went to my kitchen cupboard to make some food. Something for my son and me to eat. Maybe we'll have some Weetabix. And left. Okay, maybe what about, well, okay, it's maybe not apple, but what about a piece of shortbread? Nothing left. And then, well, what about some fish? Again, nothing left. Bit of cake? No, nothing left. Oh, there's some tin foil. No, you can't do that. What about some eggs? Like some eggs? No, none left. Pizza! What about pizza? Nothing left. There wasn't anything she could eat. She looked way in the back of her cupboard and she found a little flour and a little oil. And she said, this is all I have. There's just enough here to make some bread for myself and my son. So that's why I'm out here gathering sticks so that I can light a fire to cook on. I'm going to go home. I'm going to make some bread. My son and myself will eat it. Then we'll have nothing left. We'll die. No food. We'll die. Elijah said to her, yes, go and do that. Make some bread. But first of all, of the bread that you make, I want you to give some to me. And if you do that, God will look after you. Your bread, your flour and your oil will not run out. You'll be able to make bread every day until the rain comes, the crops grow, and you can buy more food. So she went home. She put all the flour, I can't really do American thing. All the flour goes into the bowl, and there's none left. All the oil goes into the bowl, now there's none left. She takes the bowl, puts it on the fire, and there we have 3 pieces of bread. One for her son, one for Elijah, and one for herself. And she gave Elijah his first. Do you know what happened the next day when she went to her cupboard? Was there any pizza? No. Any eggs? No. Weetabix? No. What do you think? Was there any flour and oil? Yes. Yes, there was. Just enough for what she needed for that day. And that's the way it continued. Every day she was able to make enough flour, she had enough flour and oil to make bread for the 3 of them. God looked after them all, because she was prepared to do what God had asked her to do, even though at that time she probably didn't even know God. Elijah had told her, if you do that, if you give me some bread first, God will look after you and provide enough for every day until you can get food again. God did look after them. Sometime later though, the lady's son got sick. And then he got very sick. And then he died. I can imagine she must have been really upset. Sad. Probably she was cross and angry with Elijah and God. God had looked after them, given them food every day. For what? For her son to die? But Elijah took the son and he prayed. He said, God, this is the widow woman who followed your instructions, who gave me bread every day, and you looked after her. Please look after her now. Let her son's life return. And immediately he started to breathe again. He was alive. Now the woman said, I know for sure that you're a prophet from God, and the words that you speak are the truth of God. I know that your God lives. So God looked after the widow woman. She had some problems. First she had a problem, she had no food, and God looked after her. Then she had a bigger problem, and God took care of that too. And she was prepared, first of all, to give what she had to God, to Elijah. And God will do that for us too. You might have some problems as you're growing up and going through your life, but you can always trust God with your problems. But you need to put Him first. He will look after you like He looked after the widow woman and Elijah. Now I'm going to sing. Our God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing our God cannot do. The actions.
Our God is so big, strong and so mighty, there's nothing that He cannot do. Our God is so big, strong and so mighty, there's nothing that He cannot do. The mountains are His, the rivers are His, the stars are His handiwork too. Our God is so big, strong and so mighty, there's nothing that He cannot do. Our God is so big, strong and so mighty, there's nothing that He cannot do. Our God is so big, strong and so mighty, there's nothing that He cannot do. The mountains are His, the rivers are His, the stars are His.